I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. This is This Week
And Crootin.
This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScouts. He has fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express, it's February, and you know what that means? It's National Chicken Express Month. Is that true? I don't know, but it's true now because I said it on the internet. Go to Chicken Express and eat their chicken tenders. Or, just eat their fried chicken. We talk about the tenders because the tenders hit, and it's to me, that's the most convenient. That's me. But, you want to hit that catfish?
Pre-order those wings for Sunday.
Get them wings.
Their wings, I'm telling you, their wings
We haven't even talked about
their wings are the secret menu item that people don't talk about enough. Their wings are really good.
We haven't even talked about the big game Sunday. But, yeah, that's important.
There's a lot going on.
So you can go, Chicken Express, get that order in right now.
I would say the one thing, I'm a big, you got to dunk your roll. You got to put the chicken inside the roll, then dunk it in the gravy. You guys know my strategy for eating Chicken Express tenders. Mm-hmm. Everybody, it's well documented,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
The only pass I give to that is when you're having the wings.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
if you're having wings, you can put buffalo on them, ranch, whatever. They have an array of sauces that are good.
Hard to miss.
Wings don't miss.
Absolutely. This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers, our Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. A lot to get to in this week's report. Let's start with our Prospect on the Rise. Thank you. Our Prospect on the Rise this week. We're going to start in Houston to talk about Cy Ranch, their 2026 tight end, athlete, do-it-all superstar, William Blaylock II, who is picked up his first 2 scholarship offers this week from Texas Southern and Prairie View A&M. This is the guy who is the son of Cy Ranch head coach William Blaylock, and a guy who is starting to pick up a little bit of steam here. And I have a feeling that these first 2 guys in the door, Texas Southern and Prairie View A&M, they will not be alone for long.
I agree with that. 6'3", 220 pounds, can really move. They call him Deuce, by the way, because instead of Junior the second, I like that. I like
Deuce,
the name
that's
Deuce.
Very good.
So Deuce down at Cy Ranch is a guy who I think is going to start to pick up continued interest, especially into the spring evaluation period, because he's so athletic and can do so many different things. The first 2 scholarship offers that have came in from Texas Southern and Prairie View A&M came in as looking at him as an H. Mm-hmm. But I think as the spring evaluation comes that he could get more looks as an outside linebacker or as an edge defender. Because bear in mind, Coach Blaylock and Deuce came from Lubbock Estacado that didn't have spring ball last year. Mm-hmm. So colleges didn't have an opportunity to see him. And he is going to spend some time playing defense now at Cy Ranch. I'm very interested to see how that goes. I don't want to call it an experiment because he's a high football IQ player. He used to be a quarterback.
Yeah.
So he can really do anything on the football field. At 6'3", 220, you can't. That's great size. It's natural or God-given. So interested to see what the spring evaluation period brings for him. But congratulations to not only Deuce down there at Cy Ranch, but the entire Cy Ranch community, because their football team has been blowing up. They've got a defensive end down there, Vickerson, that started to get a lot of attention, and then 2028 offensive lineman Ramoni Edwards is going to be one of the top guys in the country.
It's big doings down there at Cy Ranch, and Deuce, William Blaylock II, is one of those guys to keep an eye on. Let's get to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week, we're going to Central Texas to talk about Waco University wide receiver London Smith, who pulled the trigger this week and committed to Baylor. Baylor seals the borders here and hauls him in over offers from places like Texas and A&M and Oklahoma and a lot more. Now, this, I will just be honest, all things considered here, this felt like one Baylor really needed to land this putt, and they landed the putt for sure.
Yeah, the connections were so strong. Mm-hmm. Both of his parents attended Baylor. As a matter of fact, his mother still is on staff at Baylor. Both parents are Hall of Famers at Baylor, so this was like one that they really needed to get. They needed to land London Smith. I think he's going to end up as one of the highest rated players that they've signed in the last few years. The reason why I say I think instead of I know is because we're right smack dab in the middle of doing our prospect rankings for the class of 2026, and I've narrowed it down to 25 guys for the top 10. And London Smith is one of those 25.
So you're
names.
almost halfway there.
Yeah, almost halfway there. But what I'm finding incredibly difficult within this class is that it is honestly from 1 to 25, and maybe even beyond that, it's tight. Like there isn't a clear line of demarcation this year for me to say, oh, well, this is where you have to draw a line, and these guys are probably top 10 worthy, and these guys aren't really top 10 worthy because they're all pretty good. Baylor also got a commitment from Waco Connolly's Jamarian Vincent, and Mallory Hartley filed a little bit of report on that earlier this week as well. Mal, what did you think about Vincent?
I really liked him. Watching his tape. So I remember seeing the London Smith news happen on Wednesday night, and I specifically looked at that post, and I looked under it, and Jamarian Vincent had replied with the eyes, the eye emoji, and I was like, that's interesting, because I knew he was pretty high on Baylor, so I kept looking at their profiles a little bit the day after, and of course, soon after he committed to Baylor as well. Another 4-star prospect that Baylor was able to keep at home this week, 6'2", 165 pounds. He plays on both sides of the ball, quarterback and cornerback, but he's being recruited as a cornerback. And if you remember a couple years ago, Waco Connolly is kind of known for producing those top-tier 4-star cornerbacks. Does Kobe Black ring a bell a little bit? But he's a really, really good athletic, like you just said about London Smith, high football IQ, choosing Baylor over offers from Texas, Houston, Kansas State, TCU. He had 17 in total, so really, really big get for the Baylor Bears this week, and those 2 4-stars.
Yeah, two guys there in Central Texas that again like shop local, and
right.
they've done that with Waco Connolly there with Vincent, and then here with Waco U with London Smith. So
hometown heroes,
big gets for them. Let's round it all out with our underclassmen of the week. Our underclassmen of the week, we're going to the North Crowley to talk about their soon-to-be sophomore, 2028 wide receiver Demarion Mays, who picked up new offers this week from places like Georgia, SMU, Colorado, and Houston. He's already got offers from A&M, Texas Tech, Miami, Ole Miss, etc. He is loaded. This is a guy who played his freshman year at Life Oak Cliff in the Dallas area. Now he's going to be playing at North Crowley, but he is for a North Crowley program that has made some big wide receiver names. Demarion Mays may be the next one.
Yeah, I think he is going to be the next one. His statistics were unbelievable last year. I think he went over 1,500 yards last year as a freshman. No matter what level of competition you're playing against, that's elite production. And I look for him to be, North Crowley's got a lot of talent, right? They've got guys that are coming back that are waiting their turn to be the stars of that show. Of course, Quentin Gibson was the star of the show this season, but next season I think it's going to be a pretty wide open on who's going to take the reins, because we really don't know what's going to happen there under center either, right? So I'm interested to see what happens under center, but no matter who the quarterback is, they're going to have a wealth of weapons, and Mays is a guy that has a chance to be the top prospect in the state, the number one guy. And Texas, I would say, I'm just going to say it, everybody needs to hear it, Texas is the best state for wide receiver talent in the country, edging out Florida ever so slightly. Florida, of course, producing some great top-end guys like Jeremiah Smith, Jamie French, some of those type of names that you'll be familiar with nationally and even locally here because Texas got French. But I still think Texas, we produce the most talented wide receiver, and I think the most consistent performers in college football at wide receiver. And Mays might be the number one guy.
He is a dude to keep an eye on for sure, and they're going to have some fun putting him in interesting spots there in that North Crowley offense.
Coach Eli's going to have fun.
Coach Eli's going to be drawing him up maybe in the sand. One guy who's always drawing it up. It's Greg Powers, our director of recruiting here. Dave Campbell's Texas Football. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersCouts. He's fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting.